back that down a bit. Well, on the public roads here. That is a fantastic engine tone, coupled by a little bit of brake noise right there. And that engine tone is coming from the 2022 Audi RS3. Hat off so I look at least a little bit professional. A little bit.
Nope.
This car is ridiculous in very, very, very good ways, from its paint and its bodywork to its raucous 5-cylinder turbocharged engine to its drive modes. Let's start with the looks first. On the outside, this paint isn't for me. It's Kalyama green. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sure it's wrong actually, but it almost lends itself to its subtle Lamborghini-like nature here that feels like a Lamborghini color, and this car makes Lamborghini-like or Lamborghini-light noises. But we'll get back to that in a second. On the outside, it's bright, but I do appreciate the blacked out badging, the carbon fiber spoiler, the front lip on this thing. And then if you look behind the front wheels, the bodywork pops out a bit to show that this is much more of a vehicle than an A, obviously, and even an S3. Compared to the S3, the track is wider, there's more camber dialed in, and it's just much more of a step up from A3 to S3, S3 to RS3. Big leap. Like I said, the color's not for me, but I'm glad that it exists because colors are fun. It'd be boring if this was just a silver sedan, though I would like the more inherent sleeper-ish nature of a more muted color. This color is fun. It's not for me, but if you're buying one, go nuts, have fun. On the inside, again, I don't love the green trim, but the rest of it is great. The different display modes of the MMI cockpit in front of me. There's a cool, like they call it a runway, where it's 2 giant tacks going up, and if you grab it and make it climb and do its thing, but you can change the view. You can keep it in normal view even if the car is not in normal mode. Nice big screen over here, wireless CarPlay, there's a wireless charger. The shift lever is a little goofy, but it's out of the way, so I don't hate it. It's simple, it's easy to use. There's a big button for park, so you shouldn't really make mistakes there. And then if you want to control volume and tracks and stuff, at least it's here on the steering wheel. There's a button down here next to the drive selector, but I don't love this button that Audi uses because it's like a touch sensitive deal where you like spin it for volume. It's easier to just use the one on the steering wheel. But let's get to the actual meat and potatoes of the Audi RS3. The magic occurs courtesy of a inline 5-cylinder turbocharged engine, which is making 401 horsepower and I believe 369 pound-feet of torque. And it sounds awesome. It literally sounds like there's a Lamborghini in the distance, especially when you're up in the rev range. It makes Huracan-like noises. I wasn't expecting it to sound as good as it does. I don't know why. I mean, 5-cylinder engines are awesome. Odd cylinder count engines are fun because they make different noises than you're used to. And this one, you really just want to play down. Like, it sounds like there's a Lamborghini somewhere behind you, and I appreciate that. Now, backing up that engine is a 7-speed dual clutch gearbox, which honestly works best when you're shifting it yourself and the paddles are right here. It's fine in around town in comfort mode, but it holds onto gears just longer than you'd like in the more aggressive sport modes. RS individual, RS performance, and then we'll get to RS torque rear in a second. So, just driving around town, it's fun. Drive select, there's auto, comfort, dynamic, but there's a button on the steering wheel called RS, and you hit that, and it first puts it into RS individual, which is a mode you can set up to fine tune how you want it to be. So you can have, the engine crazy, suspension comfortable, stuff like that. Then RS performance just goes boom, bam, all RS, maxed out. But when you hit that on the screen here, a menu pops up and there's a button at the bottom called RS torque rear. You push that one. I'm going to push it now because I thought it was into it, but I just did it. Then you have to push another button saying activate, and it says, hey, this is only, you can't use this on the street, blah, blah, blah. It takes traction control off, but whatever, ignore that. Grab that one because that's the fun one, because what that does is when the torque is going rearward, it decouples the clutch on the inside wheel so that all the torque is forced to the outside wheel of the available rear torque, and it's a drift mode. I mean, it's not a super aggressive, it's not instant like, ooh, oversteer. It actually is better than that because there's still some power going to the front. What it does is it mitigates that all-wheel drive understeer or that push you might find in a corner, and just helps force the car through the corner more aggressively. And it's fun because you get to drive this like a dummy, where you have to be less careful. You just go, oh, give it gas now, whee! And it just pulls your ass through the corner in an absolutely delightful way. It's like the best of both worlds between rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive, where you have that grip, that increased grip from all-wheel drive, but then you also have the better cornering ability and fun, frankly, from a rear-wheel drive vehicle. It is a bravo, kudos to Audi for popping that in this car. It makes it far more entertaining than if it was just all-wheel drive. I've been driving it in pretty much just torque rear the whole time I've had the car. I've been driving it with the paddles, the gearbox is more enjoyable that way. And overall, this car has been an absolute blast to drive. The steering feels nice and responsive and sharp. The brakes are insane because this is wearing carbon ceramic front brakes that, I mean, it feels like the front brake rotors are as big as if you compare the front brake rotor to the size of the rear brake rotor, it is hilarious. It's almost like the meme of like a huge jack dude who clearly always skips leg day, except these are legs and this thing can stop. Carbon ceramic brakes on this thing are nuts. Sometimes they make a little bit of noise from the pad if you're not fully clamped down, but not all the time. And then when you first get into the car, there's an initial, that press of the pedal, it feels like there's not much there. And then there's tons there. And then as the car warms up and the brakes warm up, it's excellent. Awesome brakes. So all around, this is a compact luxury sedan that would do awesome on a racetrack. I'm actually bummed that I don't have access to a track right now to try this thing out. I haven't been able to push torque rear drive mode to its limits because I'm on public roads and I just haven't found a good place to just go and try and do donuts. But earlier reports are that it's fun, but it's not like as crazy of a drift mode as they want you to believe. And they're not advertising it as such here. They're calling it torque rear. So if it's advertised more as like a way to just get around corners more aggressively, more efficiently, faster, absolutely, 100%. Yes, let's do it. And if the byproduct of that is if you have enough space and know how to force this car into drifts, go for it, go nuts. And I am down with that. Price on this one starts at a very palatable for what it is, $59,000, just under $60,000. This one, I believe, as tested though, is in the 70s, which is tons and tons of money for a compact sedan. However, this is a compact sedan that is just ready for a dual nature life as your daily driver / track machine, and it will be very good at both of them. So then maybe the price feels a little, I mean, everything's expensive these days, so it's hard to say what makes sense value-wise anymore. If you can get, you don't need, if you're going to track it, I'm sure you're going to want the carbon ceramics, but you don't need the carbon ceramics on a daily basis. And I think that's like a $5,500 option, along with maybe one or two other things. But you do want the upgraded Bang & Olufsen sound system. I mean, I say you do. This is me talking. But I prefer the best sound systems that they offer in cars if you're going to get one. And then I can ease up on some of the stuff that would be more track focused, since I'm not a track rat as much as I wish I were. So I'll leave the value proposition up to you. See, you can hear those brakes. It's actually pretty annoying right now. But if you press harder, it goes away. Or if you just lift and let the engine braking do the work. The car, Awesome. I would love to see it in other colors to see what it looks like. Even just a darker green would be nice. This is just a little too bright for me. Engine note, amazing. Gearbox works well when you're shifting it yourself. Steering feel is great. And then the way they've designed the drive modes and the all-wheel drive system is a win for me in my book. This is an awesome machine, and I hope I see a handful of these out on the road. If you buy one, you've made a very inspired, great choice. Get whatever color makes you happy. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say, and I can't think about it. Oh well. I will let my brain be cleansed by the sound of 401 half Lamborghini screams. It's awesome. It does not get old. Turn around, green car. Every now and then I turn the car and I drive it all together.